Okay.
I need water.
All right, you go out and get water.
I need water.
I brought my own already. Display. Probably couldn't even hear that, but I'm supposed to.
Live.
I am live, right?
Are we live?
Yeah, no, we are.
Yeah,
live. I'm
right.
just gonna go get a water.
Oh, great. Everybody's getting water.
Everybody's getting water.
So can you handle the studio for a second?
What?
Because I forgot something.
Well, how can I handle it?
Just talk to yourself.
Oh, talk to myself. Of course, if you're tuning in, this is what we do before we launch our weekly show. We roll a little bit behind the scenes as we get ready. We grab our water. We make sure that our scripts are all ready. We have a prop here today, RX Bars. You know, if you've been listening to the show for a while, RX Bar is one of the sponsors of our show. And so we actually have a case here. And I just had an RX Bar. So it is tasty. You know, I should take one out so that when we talk about it later, I can hold it up as an example of something. Oh my goodness!
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you.
Happy birthday, dear Dan. Happy, but don't stand in front of the camera.
Oh, man.
There you go. Now, do you notice we have an emoji and a Cookie Monster?
I see.
And they're whoopie pies.
Oh, very good. So should I blow it out now?
You make a wish.
I did make my wish.
Okay, good.
Okay.
There you go.
Wow, I don't get surprised too often,
there you
but
go.
That one surprised me.
Live on the internet. Woo!
Oh my, that was good. You got me.
I knew I'd get you.
You got me. Wow.
Thank God for Facebook. That's all I can say.
Very good. Oh wow, yeah. My birthday. Yesterday was my birthday, and so although I told my family this morning when I woke up.
Did they forget your birthday?
No, they did not forget. But I always have what I call birthday week. So whenever my birthday lands, no matter where it lands in the week, it's my birthday still, even after my birthday day. So this morning I said that to my son, and he goes, "Dad, yesterday was your birthday." I said, "No, today's my birthday." He goes, "No, it doesn't work like that." So anyway, I think this is proof that it does work.
It does work that way. And just for the record, I have a birthday month.
Oh, month. Oh, very good. Well,
and I get crap for it all the time. Right.
Well, thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Absolutely.
I enjoyed that.
And a special birthday because April 19th, as I find out, Jackie Bradley Jr., the center fielder for the Red Sox, the now late Gil Santos. We'll talk about that a little bit in our fourth quarter.
Right. And you want to hear the negative stuff about April 19th?
No, I don't want to hear no negatives.
There is a big negative thing connected to April 19th.
Oh, it is a horrible thing. Is it 19th or the 20th?
Well, 19th. So.
No.
19th was when Oklahoma City happened. It is known as like Patriots something day. It's the day that white supremacists.
Great.
It may be Hitler's birthday, but it's around that. Yeah. So
you're really bringing me down. I was all excited about this show, and now I'm all down.
No, some sad stuff has happened. I think Waco happened as well on April 19th.
And Columbine was 420.
Was the 20th, right? It was supposed to be the 19th.
We're going to talk about 420 because now we know there's a lot of different connotations about 420 now, but we can get into that later.
Anyway, so we're good. Ready to go?
That's before Behind the Media.
Yeah. Everybody ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay, hit it, Steve.
You're tuned in to Behind the Media. Dan Lothian and Jimmy Young bring 70 years of award-winning broadcast experience to the table. From newsrooms across the country, behind anchor desks and in the field, they've seen and covered it all. And now they are here to take you behind the media.
You're going to have to embrace technology. If you're an educator...
Oh, I'm embracing it.
I want you to use the phone to help teach these kids.
You don't need to do that. I was covering the president in China, and we did a behind-the-scenes video. This is a gong, or
no, not a gong, a bong.
A bong.
With a B.
So that's right. Did I say
the
gong?
Gong is a
that's
gong
right.
show.
I said gong.
Gong
bong.
makes noise.
Bong.
Okay.
Why is it, Jimmy? Why?
Because sex sells, Dan.
True, but it's only part of the answer. It is. You have to be more creative now to be able to tell a story, and sometimes it's just a before and after picture and saying which one do you want to be. So their trademark product is coffee, but if you Google Starbucks these days, some of the top hits that come up are about racism and bad customer service, to put it mildly. We're talking about it today because social media broke the story, and we're calling it Public Eyewitness News.
Does that make you nervous, or does this make you nervous? The Department of Homeland Security is looking for help in tracking what journalists of every language are saying and doing.
By the way, how much do you make, or how much does your boss make? The CEO? Some media moguls make close to 600 times their average employee's salary. When is too much way too much?
And Amazon hits a major milestone while the NFL makes a big deal about a routine event. That is not news. That happens all the time. And, of course, TV commercials are now on a diet.
We're calling it Bites Behind the Media. Quick hits of some of the other stories people are buzzing about. Hello, everybody. Grab your sunglasses, put on a baseball hat, and pull out a tube of suntan oil. Things are about to get piping hot in here. This is Behind the Media. I'm Dan Lothian.
And I'm Jimmy Young.
We find the interesting in media so you don't have to go digging around for it. Like us on Facebook, use the hashtag Behind the Media to engage with us on Twitter, and listen on iTunes and the CLNS Media Network. Today's episode is powered by RX Bar, which we have one right here, this box in front of us. It's the Whole Foods protein bar. Go to rxbar.com/CLNS and use promo code CLNS for 25% off your first purchase. We're also brought to you by Little Park Media, where ideas come to life, producing corporate videos and podcasts to tell your story. For more, check out littleparkmedia.com. You can also contact Little Park Media at info@littleparkmedia.com. So again, their trademark product, coffee. Why can't it just be about coffee? Now it's about race. It's about police coming in and
it could have been any coffee shop.
It could have been any coffee. Yes.
Okay. It could have been any coffee shop.
Right.
It happened to be Starbucks, which is interesting because of all the corporate giants out there that love making money. To be perfectly honest with you.
Yes,
Okay.
there's nothing wrong with that.
That's right. They're very politically savvy.
Right.
And have been for a long time as a corporate group.
Exactly.
And their reaction to this whole story has been pretty cool. Let's get into it, though.
And they're very conscious about public image and about their social responsibility and so forth. But this is a case where you have two black men who are in a Starbucks in Philadelphia. They're waiting for another person to come and arrive for them to have a meeting. Apparently at that point, they haven't ordered anything yet. One of them wants to use the bathroom. They're told that since they didn't buy anything, they can't use the bathroom. Conversation ensues between the manager and these two black men. Eventually, the manager calls police to come in and get them out because they're loitering. They're in a place that they're not supposed to be. This would have just happened and gone off, and we wouldn't have known a thing about it.
No.
But the reason we're discussing it today and the reason it became national news is because it went viral on social media. And it's amazing. I mean, first of all, it's the little camera there, the phone, everyone. It used to be a time when you had to
use your phone for your phone.
Well, yes, and you used to use a camera for a camera.
Right, that's right.
I can't remember how many times
a watch for a watch.
Right. I wanted to see, I wanted to take a picture and say, oh, I don't have my camera with me.
Right.
Now you have a camera with you at all times.
Yeah.
And so the first time someone got a shot of, they were recording on what was going on inside. They posted it on Twitter. And then there was another angle that someone posted as well on YouTube.
Now, these guys were actually put in handcuffs and led out of the Starbucks.
They were let out. They were arrested. I mean, that was like it wasn't just the cops came in and talked to them. And you see the whole thing play out on video. And, of course, we posted one of those videos on our site on Facebook, so you can check it out there. We'd love to hear you.
That's the Little Park Media site.
Little Park Media, Little Park Media page. You will find it there. We'd love to hear
which is where
your
we are
comments.
live on just for the record.
That's right. You can go in the comment section. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Not necessarily about the story itself, but the fact that this can be become such big news and grab our attention and become part of the conversation and force a big company like Starbucks now to essentially shut down for a day and to have sensitivity training, for people to deal with their unconscious bias.
Right. And again, let's look, you could call it PR 101, whatever you want, crisis communications. They're being proactive about an incident that they were embarrassed about. The CEO is actually going to meet with the two guys that were arrested.
Right,
which I think,
right.
Again, they're turning... But this could have happened at Dunkin' Donuts. This could have happened at any restaurant, McDonald's, Burger King, where you have open to the public. You walk in and look, I'll admit sometimes I go and I meet people at a restaurant, whether it's Panera or it's Burger King.
What do you mean you go and meet them? This sounds
I
like
meet them
something.
there.
What, you to hook up or what?
Well, that would be I didn't. That was
like
never in my
meeting them.
mind,
You're talking
Dan,
about
until you mentioned it.
You're
No,
talking
it's
about
like a business meeting.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
going to
but
meet
but the
somebody.
way you said it made it sound like it was some nefarious kind of thing that you were going to.
It's just because you know me so well.
Oh, well, that must be it. But the thing is that there are always cameras no matter where you go.
Citizen
Right.
journalism is what they're calling this now.
That's right.
Eyewitness, public eyewitness news.
And you came up with that yesterday, by the way, during our story meeting.
That's not
I thought that was
original.
great. Well, I thought it was cool. I liked
you
it.
know what? If you think it's cool, Dan, I think it's cool.
But it's a powerful thing. So when we started talking about this word or this notion of citizen journalists years ago, there was, for established journalists, the notion that people out there on their own with no background in journalism were going to drive the train or the bus on a story was shocking. Oh no, we're giving up control of coverage of news to an individual who doesn't understand anything about how you cover news. And I think a lot of reporters saw this as a threat. And I don't think there was any thinking that there could be anything beyond a house fire or a car accident because they happened to be there when journalist cameras were not there.
Yeah.
But it really has been transformed well beyond that to where now, network news coverage in a way is being dictated by a citizen journalist and what they're able to capture.
Absolutely. And it's really collateral damage from the 24/7 news cycle that exists because of social media, because of the fact that everybody's walking around with cameras in their phones and on their watches and wherever. Hey, look, this could be a camera too. I watch TV. That's right. I watch TV shows.
Hey, but you said collateral damage. That's a negative connotation. What do you mean by that? Like, so collateral.
Well, in other words,
bad?
because they are dictating content.
Right. Is that bad? So you're saying it's bad if they're dictating content?
What's their news judgment?
Well,
this is the public. There's no news judgment.
There isn't. But isn't it a fact that it is up to whoever runs with it? If the nightly news is going to run with something, they might treat it differently than if it just goes viral on the internet. Because yes, it's compelling video, whatever it is, and this isn't the first one, but it's compelling video. But then it has to be vetted by the news organization, number one, and it has to be put into some kind of context, number two. And then after you put it into some kind of context, you also have to add the voices of the law enforcement and the bystanders, the eyewitnesses. So it's not just video unfiltered going out there. It gets packaged in a certain way, and that's the difference. So you can argue about what the intent is, what the journalists running, the citizen journalists running around with their phone, and how that could be detrimental to sort of real news. But at the same time, they're feeding this information, and then it's up to the news organizations to decide whether or not they're going to run with it and how they'll run with it.
Right. And this is a story. You sent me this story. Do you remember who wrote this story?
I don't remember.
Too bad.
No.
Because it's a really good story. I'm going to read portions of it. Basically, it's talking about what journalists look for. We look for big stories. We look for scoops. We look to dig and find out information about something that may have happened that nobody knows about even.
Right.
And then come at you with the facts, and then you decide, and here's the story. With citizen journalism and what they call individual microaggressions.
Whoa.
That's a great term, right?
That is, yeah.
And we all recognize, we being responsible adults, recognize right and wrong, correct and incorrect behavior rather than directions, because we're very sensitive to directional thinking around here.
That's wrong to do,
That's
especially
right,
with
because I'm on the wrong side or the right side, whatever I am. Anyway, it's what this is great because, and this is a quote. I feel bad. Indeed, a keen sense of right and wrong and a desire to bring malefactors to justice is one of the main reasons that people pursue this thankless and often low-paying career as a journalist. That is such a great thing.
I don't know that I thought my career is thankless and low-paying.
I always felt that we
was
had an
local.
obligation to the people who were our audience.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what
that
our
was,
job was.
That's what got me into this business. I
Yeah.
never thought of it as thankless, and even though I was underpaid when I first started, it was a privilege to be part of this.
I've been underpaid my entire life for everything I've ever done.
But you've been overloved, so that's a wonderful
and you know
thing.
what?
Underpaid
That's what
and
keeps me
overloved.
going. That's what keeps me going. Because it is
that's-
about the love. It
That's
is
your
about what
tagline.
people. I like to be
Underpaid,
liked.
overloved.
I like it when people I've never met before walk up to me and just give me a hug. I just think that's nice.
And I think that's creepy.
you don't like people.
No, get out of here with that hug, you hugger.
Anyway,
Go hug a tree.
What happened to journalism? You know,
Yeah.
these citizen videographers have impacted what dictates news. We've talked about this. What is news, Dan?
Right.
News is something that is interesting to a whole bunch of people.
Right. And sometimes news isn't news until you see it. You can hear about it.
Right.
So what was it? Who was
Ray
it?
Rice.
In,
The Ray Rice incident in the
Exactly.
elevator when he cold cocked his significant other. I don't know if it was wife or his girlfriend.
And there was this whole reaction from the NFL in terms of what they were going to do, and it changed. It shifted
As
after you
soon as
saw
the video got out there.
Video got out there. And we
Right.
see that a lot of times.
And
you
it's
know?
similar. I'm going to bring up Colin Kaepernick again because seeing him sitting for the national anthem is keeping him out of that league
Right.
still.
Well, and it's almost, well, that's like a whole, now you've opened a can of worms,
Of course
but
I
I
have.
think in that particular
Are
case,
you
it's
calling
not
the
a-
NFL worms, by the way?
Actually, I'm calling it much worse than that, but I won't do that here. But it's not necessarily what he did. That's what triggered it. But he just did it, and that was it. It was what everybody else started doing, and the
Right.
visuals of that. But it's not just, I mean, that's sort of more established journalists, production cameras in place and so forth. It's a different dynamic now when you hear about something that happened and it doesn't really become a huge story until you see the video. And the only reason you see the video now is because technology allows for cameras to be on every street corner. So there's that aspect of it. Every elevator, every building, some homes have them now. Everyone has a way to monitor everything. But then in addition to that, you have these roving cameras that are
They're called eyeballs.
They're eyeballs. I
Right.
mean, there's no way that
And it's
news
the
organization-
product that commercial media makes their money off, by the way.
It is. And a lot of those folks now can get some money off of that video that they get. But the thing is that you can
I
never
see the credit. Always get a credit. And
They
it's like
get credit.
$100 if they get it and they run it or something
Exactly.
like
But the thing is that you look at journalists and news organizations can't be everywhere at once, number one, and they can't get there soon enough. When a story breaks, if a plane is coming down, sometimes they happen to be in the area and they look up and there it is. But there's always someone somewhere with a camera now that can capture that footage.
The footage that was inside the plane of the
with the-
horrible accident
on
for
Southwest, yeah.
where a fan broke off the engine. The collateral damage broke a window and half sucked her out the window.
Right.
She was in a seatbelt, which, by the way, I just booked 2 flights. I'm not on the window.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
mean,
like the aisle just because
more.
there's
Well,
room
you're
for my
long.
leg.
You
Yeah.
have long legs.
Plus, if I want to go to the bathroom, which
And you
I
don't
do
have to
sometimes,
bother
I
anyone.
don't have to say, excuse me.
Anyway.
Excuse me.
Speaking
Can
of
you wake up?
eyewitness news, and
Yes.
and this is a trend, but
Yes.
I'm going to say I learned something about these phones with
Oh,
with
my
cameras
goodness,
in
you
them.
learned something.
Well, yes, every day.
Oh, very
from
good.
citizen journalists, I might add, because I've always reprimanded people for holding their cameras
you do. That was like
vertically.
a big thing for you. Yes,
It was a big. I was like,
Right.
come on, guys! It's 16:9. Hold it like this,
Right.
and that way it fills the whole screen.
You have breaking news here on this?
Android phones.
You don't have to.
You don't
know
do
what?
that.
Oh my goodness,
They don't do
that
it.
solves my problem.
Android
so
phones do not do it.
listening to you. I was out shooting something the other day. I turned it sideways. What that does is it whoops
Gives you
it.
the 2 black back.
No, it does. It stretch. It does this weird thing when you flip it around. It does this. It's like wah, wah. Yes,
I like that.
So because of
Wow.
you and this
on my
hard
phone.
line thing that you've had going for a while, you influenced me, and then I now screwed up on the video I shot with my camera. And-
Sorry.
yes.
Well,
So
now you know.
now I know.
Now you know why, and now I know why. So if you have an iPhone, which I do and have had for a long time, you do hold it horizontally because it delivers a 16.9. If you hold it vertically, you get the 2 black bars on either side.
Right.
And with an Android, it doesn't matter because they want you to shoot it vertically,
Right.
but it's a pain in the neck to edit because you end up with the 2 black bars.
That's Shooting on Your Phone, iPhone, or Android 101.
That's it.
Courtesy of Reverend Jimmy.
And, of course, that means the next time you're seeing something happening in your neighborhood and you pull out your phone, you'll know how to hold it.
Look, this is obviously this is not a funny story, what's happening with Starbucks. It is the grim reality of what happens around every day in minority communities, and there's this whole discussion around it, and I have to applaud the way that Starbucks has been handling this situation. But again, I'm thankful, while I do have reservations about putting the power of journalism in the hands of citizen journalists, I am thankful that there are so many cameras out there, because we've seen incidences of police encounters with individuals, and not to say that it's always the police problem or fault.
No, it can be.
Sometimes
it can be a runaway bus. It can be. I've seen crazy stuff.
But I'm saying in the police case, there are times when you think that the police was the aggressor in the case, and when you see these home videos or these phone videos, you realize that they were doing their job and they're not at fault here.
Right.
But I think it's good in having it out there. It's for us then, once we get that video, to decide how will we use that video and what kind of context will we place around it to be responsible journalists.
Yeah, and I'm going to also defend our first responders out there, because there was another video that was on the news, and it had to do with the Cambridge police and a guy who was an undergrad from Harvard who had taken some, I believe, LSD and was running around naked, and he was a little disoriented, let's just say.
It's
a pretty good, by the way, you don't really need a visual of that. You kind of get it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But sure enough, they showed the end where they had to control this guy, and he was out of control, and they're only showing you 20 seconds. They're showing you the final chapter of this encounter with this guy, and it looks like the police are abusing this guy, because you're only looking at 20 seconds as opposed to the 5 to 8 minutes that it took to get to that point.
Right. Well, and the good thing is that usually these videos are released sometimes raw. So you can find them. You can usually go somewhere and find it, and that puts it into context, because you can watch the whole thing.
Right.
But
not the news. Not the news. You're gonna take the highlights. Give me the highlights.
Yes, exactly.
Just the highlights, and that's the nature of the business. That's the nature of 24/7, the cycle, and still having a job to cover what is news for the day.
Exactly.
What are people talking about around the water cooler in the office?
And now people can dictate what other people will be talking about around the water cooler. They don't have to wait to the nightly news to decide that. Anyway, thank God for social media. That's all I can say.
We wouldn't be here doing this live, actually.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we like social media.
Exactly. Anyway, if you like this episode, let us know. Like us on Facebook. Use the hashtag #BehindTheMedia to engage with us on Twitter. And by the way, as we pointed out, if you want to check out that video, everybody's seen it. But if you haven't, you can go to our Little Park Media site. We posted that video there in its entirety so you can see it. Have any questions or comments, let us know at info@littleparkmedia.com. Okay, our second quarter.
I'm the bell guy.
You are the bell guy.
I'm the bell guy.
Yes. Does this make you nervous? The Department of Homeland Security is looking for help in tracking what journalists of every language are saying and doing.
Thank God I'm not in journalism full-time anymore.
Oh, Lord help us. This is Behind the Media. I'm Dan Lothian.
And I'm Jimmy Young.
We find the interesting in media so you don't have to go digging around for it like you do around springtime trying to find new clothes. Does that... I don't know why.
Where did that come from?
I don't know.
That's called an ad lib, ladies and gentlemen.
I know. Like us on Facebook. Use the hashtag Behind the Media to engage with us on Twitter. Listed on iTunes and the CLNS Media Network. Today's episode is powered by RX Bar, as we have here in our studio with us today, the Whole Foods Protein Bar. And we have a box of it. Go to rxbar.com/CLNS to use promo code CLNS for 25% off your first purchase. We're also brought to you by Little Park Media, where ideas come to life, producing corporate videos and podcasts to tell your story. Learn more at littleparkmedia.com or contact info@littleparkmedia.com. So, Jimmy, when I first heard about this story, I said, no way. This sounds way too sinister. The Department of Homeland Security, and these are the folks who are in charge of protecting protecting from everything from who comes into this country, when they're coming in, who's going.
I think they refer to this as the intelligence community.
They are. They oversee, I believe, CIA and some of the others are underneath them.
Right.
So
I think they work in conjunction with the CIA and the FBI. I know they do.
Right. And they oversee, everything that happens in terms of the security of our country. And that's what it's supposed to be. And for us to feel comfortable. And so this story comes out about how they are they're looking for contractors who will essentially monitor what reporters out there, what journalists are saying about them.
Which people, we have to, again, let's talk a little bit about what happens behind the media here. Public relations companies are hired regularly by corporate America to compile mentions of their particular service, product, or brand.
Exactly. So there is this. This is not new that private entities typically monitor what's going on. It's not new that even government agencies will generally monitor what's going on in the news media so that they can react to something, so they can correct something if they see it. I mean, that's the job of a lot of, for example, the White House spokespeople. They have a million different people who are there. Certain people have different portfolios of the kinds of stories that they have to keep an eye on. And they know the reporters who are covering those stories, and they're looking at every single thing that they are doing. And if they find that something is wrong, as far as they believe it, they try to correct it. This one seems a little deeper, where they are they're looking into stories related to the Department of Homeland Security, as they say, quote, a particular event, along with, quote, their sentiment. Which
means the personal bias, if you really want to say it. But that's what they want to see. If there's an influencer out there in the media
what it feels
who's using their and we've never seen or talked about personal bias in media.
We've never. That's like a new topic. That's something that we never discuss.
Yeah. They're dealing with misinformation and fake news. Let's call it what it is. That's what's going on. Yeah.
And they're prodding and poking into nearly 290,000 media outlets. In 100 languages, so not just English. They're going to be sifting through what everybody's saying of any language.
And there are state-run media outlets in other countries all over the place. So
yes, they are.
I get that.
Right, but the question is, are we safer by the? This is their main duty is to keep us safe. How does this play into that? I mean, why this thing of tracking what journalists are doing seems so sinister and almost feels, correct me if I'm wrong, Jimmy, but it feels as if this is a distraction from the core business of keeping us safe. You're paying all this attention to what reporters are saying. Why spend our tax dollars to track what reporters are doing? I want every penny to go to keeping me safe.
Okay, and I think the spin behind that, I think, is
there's spin.
There's spin on this on the media.
There be spin?
Is they think the more information they can gather, if they have people whose job it is to go after information and react to information and report the facts, the intelligence community has to be saying to themselves, "Well, you know what? They're just another set of eyeballs out there in the public."
Oh, you think it's that innocent?
I think.
Are you on the side? Are you on the side of Homeland Security here?
I think I might be.
Oh, Lord help me!
Because anything to keep me, protected. Look, there are a lot of crazy people out there, all everywhere, in every corner, every country. There are people there that do the right thing, and there are people that do the wrong thing, or the correct thing and the wrong thing. And getting as much information in advance of a potential threat to the country, I think that you have to give them a little leeway.
But this doesn't sound
you
do. But it doesn't sound like they're going, what do you mean potential threat here? It sounds as if they want to just know what you're writing about. I mean, your sentiment, any particular event. If you're just out there writing a story, Dan Lothian is covering the White House or whatever. Let's find out what Dan's covering today. What kind of information am I going to give or put out there that somehow will lead them to uncover some potential threat? Any other journalist out there?
If you break a story, if you're the first one to know about a incident or a conspiracy or a injustice, and you're reporting it, if you're the first one to do it, don't you think the intelligence community would like to know that?
Yeah, but you don't need to have some sort of sinister, contract with a private company to be sifting.
I don't know if it's a sinister contract. I think it's done all the time.
If a story is broken, if someone breaks a story, you know about it. It's out there. You don't have to you don't have to hire a company.
Thanks to a good journalist, it's out there.
Right,
okay.
it is. But you don't have to hire a private company to tell you as an agency, guess what? Dan Lothian broke a story today. If the story's broken, if it's of any consequence whatsoever that may lead to helping protect this country's borders.
The journalist is doing their job.
Right, no, I'm not. That's right. They're doing their job. But what I'm saying, you don't need to hire a company to track what Dan Lothian is doing in order to find this out.
So do you
it will
think
just be in the news. You'll see it. You don't need to track a journalist and everything they do in order to find out the big story. This seems like a deeper kind of, track them on an ongoing basis. Why? If there's anything important, it rises to the top. You don't have to track them to get this information.
I think as much information that they have as possible helps them do their job to what they're, charged to do or getting paid to do, which is to protect our security. And I think the more information you have, forget that it was the Department of Homeland Security. Yeah. It was Corporation A.
Yeah.
Corporation A is designed to whatever their service or product is, they're in business to do. All right.
They make bicycles.
Now they make bicycles. Now they want to hire a PR company to track every time someone talks about the word bicycle.
Right. Yeah, they do. Yes.
Okay. That happens all the time in PR.
Yeah, but I think it's a little different when the government is doing it. Between a private entity looking for advantage in advertising,
hey, look, in a real world,
being able to brag about the fact that people are covering their industry, that's all different. I think when a government agency is going this deep into
the government's a business.
Yeah, well, but
I'm sorry, they're a business. They're a big business.
Our tax dollars. They're using our tax dollars to hire a private company in order to monitor what
information that's out there.
Yeah, I'm a little disturbed by this. And, there's been a lot.
I wish we didn't have to have this Homeland Security Department in the first place.
Well, true. Yes.
Because 30 years ago, they didn't.
And this is not to take away from the good work that they're doing, but something like this is a little troubling. And there have been some reporters putting out there, and others, defenders of reporters, have been putting out there that this feels like a way to go after kind of the left-leaning, if they deem them to be left-leaning journalists, to figure out, to spy on them, to see what they're doing. And so in response to this, a spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security said, quote, "This is nothing more than standard practice," and went on to say that any suggestion that, quote, any suggestion other than what it is, and they believe it is, quote, fit for tin hat wearing black helicopter conspiracy theorists. Really? Do they have to go there? I mean, come on.
Well,
they're basically saying that anyone who thinks this is a leftist, an attempt to go after leftist media, that this is that you're some alien, some conspiracy theorist. There's no truth to any of this.
I am so sick and tired of the word liberal, conservative, left, and right.
I know, but
it's
the world we live in now.
Those lines have been drawn now.
Yep.
Okay? And they are longer, deeper than they've ever been.
They're in cement.
And it's funny because we recognize the horrific, anything that has anything to do with race or religion.
Yeah.
Okay? And we call it out.
Yes, we do.
But we accept the vitriol and the hate and this they hate it. I mean, this is bad, the left and the right. We have no middle ground anymore.
No, we don't. But I think, but because of the climate.
That's feeding all the violence, by the way, in my opinion.
When because of this current climate we have, then agencies like the Department of Homeland Security, they need to be more careful when they put out word or it's uncovered that they're doing something like this, because it feels as if, if this is
that's why they need a PR company,
right?
Dan.
If this is an administration that tends to go after the media, certainly those who aren't conservative media, then there is always going to be, when something like this comes out, you say, you know what? I know why they're doing this. There's a reason behind this. There's a conspiracy, because everything that is done nowadays is left or right. So it has to be part of that.
You said the administration.
Oh, no. Let's move on before. Let's see if we can make it without mentioning. No.
We move on. Our leadership person is.
Here's the way to get around this. Let's just start posting stuff in fake names. I'll just post an article.
these
Let's
days-
use fake names.
These days,
Yeah,
everything's a fake. Everything's
yes.
misinformation. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I'm just.
Why don't we do a
I'm gonna
show?
go under fake name Dan.
Fake news. Well, look at the guy in Maine. He's made a living at it. He's,
That's
you know what
right.
I mean? He's throwing that stuff out there, and hey, look at that. Think that was real? Aliens are supposed to invade
Yeah.
today, right?
Oh, that definitely.
Isn't that what I heard?
That's the news. Yes,
what I heard?
aliens. Breaking news.
I think
aliens.
it's all the 420 people that are actually seeing the aliens.
You and 420. Hey, if you like this episode, let us know. Like us on Facebook. Use the hashtag Behind the Media to engage with us on Twitter. You have any questions or comments, also let us know at info@littlepartmedia.com. That's info@littlepartmedia.com. Okay, it's halftime. And by the way, this is the day after my birthday. But since I always celebrate birthday week, today is also my birthday. And the folks on Behind the Media, including Jimmy and Steve Helmuth, who's our director here, they surprised me.
With whoopie pies!
With whoopie pies and 2 large candles, which if you're just tuning in on Facebook, you can go. How do you don't rewind? You just drag back to the beginning.
They call that what? Oh my God! Not surfing. It's
you drag the line.
Not chugging. What's it? It's called something.
Chugging?
I'll come up
What
with
is
it.
that?
Chugging is when the video goes like this.
Oh,
Now,
it
hang
is.
on.
Okay.
I will come up
You
with this.
slide the little bar,
Right, you
and you go
slide the
back
bar.
to the beginning, and you can see the birthday surprise. It is a true surprise.
Bang.
I was not expecting this. They surprised me for my birthday again. Thank you very much.
You know what? I've been taking the before behind the media
and breaking it out.
breaking it out,
Right.
posting it on Facebook, and boosting that post.
And that gets
as an
more
experiment,
attention than anything else.
As an experiment,
Right.
because would people watch more apt to watch a video
Of
that
goofiness.
is 3 minutes long?
That's goofy.
That's goofy.
Yeah.
My middle name, and or watch a thoughtful, provocative discussion about behind the media.
And what wins, Jimmy?
It's the short video, the fun one. All right, all right.
This
Anyway.
show is brought to you by Little Part Media for all your video and podcast needs. Find out more at info@littlepartmedia.com or just littlepartmedia.com. Today's episode is also powered by RX Bar. I'm holding one right here in my hand, and there's the whole box right here. Wow. It's, this is great. It is the Whole Foods protein bar. That's just great for you. It has all kind of great ingredients, Jimmy. I could just taste them all as I was throwing down one of these before the show. I needed the energy before the show. I was a little hungry. So it has 3 egg whites, 14 peanuts, 2 dates. No BS is what it says.
No,
on here.
love the labeling.
Yeah, when I
Love
tell you
the
about that, you go,
labeling.
does it really say that? Yes, it does. It's just a really great protein bar. RX bars taste really good as well. Comes in 11 delicious flavors. The RX bars are great for breakfast on the go. It might be a snack that you want to have at your office, like I had today. Maybe you're traveling, about ready to get onto an airplane. You put it in your backpack.
Don't sit next to the window.
Exactly. You can go in for a bike ride, a hike. You can have it before or after you work out. Again, it's egg white protein, stands out as a source of protein that is easy for your body to absorb. So go to rxbar.com/CLNS. Use promo code CLNS for 25% off your first purchase.
And of course, now we know it's available at Costco.
Yes. How much do you make? How much does your boss make, the CEO? This is Behind the Media. I'm Dan Lothian.
And I'm Jimmy Young.
We find the interesting in media so you don't have to go searching for it. And we won't tell you how much we make. Like us on Facebook. Use the hashtag Behind the Media to engage with us on Twitter. And listen on iTunes and the CLNS Media Network. Today's episode is powered by RX Bar, the Whole Foods protein bar. Go to rxbar.com/CLNS and use promo code CLNS for 25% off your first purchase. Again, we're brought to you by Little Part Media, where ideas come to life, producing corporate videos and podcasts to tell your story. Check out littlepartmedia.com or contact info@littlepartmedia.com. So did you know that the heads of some media companies, Jimmy,
Yep.
some advertising companies as well,
Yep.
make close to 600 times the average employee's package, their salary and compensation package, nearly 600 times.
Isn't that called capitalism? And isn't that
Jimmy,
called the...
when is too much way too much? Isn't there a
Didn't
limit
you
as
see
to what?
the movie Wall Street?
I did.
Greed.
Greed, yes. And maybe that's the reason I don't like this. Look, there
Okay.
comes a time when, and again, this spreads beyond just media companies, but this is a podcast Behind the Media. And so that's why we're focusing on the media companies. Why is it that they have to make these, and I'm not talking about the founders of the company, because they have an ownership stake in the company. That's their value in the company. Why does a CEO whom you hire to come in and run a company worth 600 times more than the average employee salary.
Why? Because he has some kind of a track record of doing this before, running big organizations, and again delivering profit margins that make their investors happy.
600 times profit margins?
You know what? That doesn't surprise me. I know what a production assistant makes in television or in radio.
$2.25.
It's really whatever actually, a lot of it's minimum wage.
Yeah, it is.
It's the minimum wage.
But
look, and right now, here's the issue. Because of declining audiences,
right?
The television stations and networks, traditional broadcast media, are not making as much money as they used to.
So you're saying the ABC, the NBC, CBS,
and they're under pressure.
The Sinclair Broadcasting,
absolutely. They're we did it again.
We had to bring it up.
We had to bring it up.
Yes.
They're doing the best they can to maintain a profitable company when their product, the eyeballs of the people that are watching the content they're producing, is getting smaller and smaller. You're going from a broadcasting to a narrowcasting to almost a niche casting, similar to what we do here on social media. So how, as a business person, now granted, does that mean that you're a CEO and you have to make 600 times more than the person below you? Well, why don't we incentivize the person below to make more money?
Yeah, but they'll never make anything close to that.
No,
that's the sad
of course
part
not.
about it.
I agree, but I agree. And look, these days, that person who's making minimum wage could go out and start their own damn channel.
Right, and they could make a lot more money.
And they can make a lot more money than minimum wage.
But the problem is this, though, Jimmy. At what point... I can understand.
When's enough enough?
Yeah, exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'll never get there, Dan, so I wouldn't know. Sorry.
The thing is, look, $2 million is great. $3 million, $4 million, even $10 million. I can kind of see it. Well, we're in the stratosphere here of what some of these media CEOs are making. They're making $25 million. They're making $30. They're making $40 million per year. Again, not all of it in just base pay. Usually, that's
it's incentives.
You look at the base pay, and they're making $100,000. They're making $80,000 or whatever it may be. It's when they get 1.5 million options on the, or whatever it may be. Stocks.
It could be a capital gain. It could be a bonus.
It's all kinds of things.
By the way, it's designed.
Private jet is included.
I was going to say. By the way,
security is included.
It's designed to not share with the government. As we know, the more money you have, the more opportunity you have to hide that money in various tax shelters based on the tax laws, because we know the 1% out there.
They know how to. They can pay the people who help them save money on taxes. Is what you're saying. Yeah.
And they can also get into a situation, a job that allows them to do this while keeping that the lowest at the lowest level.
Yeah,
it's the nature of the beast.
It is the nature of the beast.
Running a business and capitalism, and I mean it.
And I'm all for capitalism. I just think that it's when you look at, especially as you were talking, the shrinking audience and even the shrinking revenues of some of these broadcast entities or media entities in general, and then you see the kind of disparity between what the top people are making. Again, not the owners necessarily, but the CEOs and other top management people. There's this huge chasm that can never be breached between what they're making and what the rank and file folks are making. Now, a couple of these things, and we found this in Ad Age. You've been
I love Ad Age.
Yeah, we love Ad Age. We have it out here in our office in the front area. When you come in, you can sit down. You can read
very stylish waiting room.
In our very stylish, yes. We always with leather furniture. Jimmy always complains about the leather furniture because it doesn't match, but it doesn't have to match.
Who's our interior designer?
It's my wife.
No, it's not. It's the Wellesley dump. You can say it.
No, that's not the decorator.
Oh,
that's
okay, sorry.
Items.
Oh, so she goes with you and she picks out these things?
She will tell me. She helps guide some of the decorators.
Fair enough.
Anyway, I wanted to point out two big advertising agencies, and we can actually crunch the numbers here. So Omnicom Group is one of the big advertising agencies. The other one's Interpublic Holdings, another big one. So Omnicom, the CEO, John Wren, makes 596 times the median employee income. So $40,230.30 is what the median income is for one of their employees, and he makes $23,959,325. That's what he makes in total compensation. Again, not the salary alone, but everything that he gets as part of the compensation package for the year. So
based on the efforts of his staff.
Based on the efforts of the people making the $40,000. Correct. Interpublic is the second example here. Makes far less than 596 times the median employee. This person makes 264 times. So it's $63,936 is what the median income or package is for the employee. And the total compensation for the CEO there is $16,883,818.
But doesn't this just reflect on the nature of the capitalist world?
I think it's less about that. It's more about patting the ego. Like, these CEOs have to then, in order to recruit a CEO, and you want one of the best, you want someone who can fix your problems
with a track
record, then it's not really about the value of that person. It's how do you make them feel good enough to come and take the job. You see it happening. You have Viacom and CBS and Disney and Comcast. They all make a boatload of money. Usually they didn't start out that way, but then if you want to retain them after they have a track record, you've got to bump them up. You got to, I've heard stories of how one will say, well, this person over there made that much, so if you really want to show me the love, you got to throw on another 10 million. And that's the problem. It's become this game where we're chasing these incredible numbers nowadays, and I think that's what has warped this entire issue, this system. It's warped. I mean, it really is. And
look, it's warped when it comes to gender equality in the workplace too,
right.
and not just in media.
Although we're seeing that get better, where
we're recognizing there's an inequality, and some companies are taking the bull by the horns and trying to do something about it.
By the way, have you ever taken a bull by the horns?
No, I've never really. I don't think I've
ever
ever seen a live bull.
You've never seen a live?
I don't think I've ever seen a live
bull. You've been
bull.
around a lot of bull, though, in the business.
Well, excrement anyway. Excrement.
I do want to go and run with the bulls, though, one of these days.
I want to run with the bulldogs. You've seen the commercial, the Geico commercial.
That's really good.
I'll run with the bulldogs. You can run with the bulls. Okay.
I did want to read this, though. This was from Deadline. That's very good, Jimmy. Deadline magazine had a corporate culture that includes your hard work. It was kind of like a co-op situation where employees own part of it.
You can buy into
the company. And I think that, you see a lot of that happening, around in various different companies. But you're right. I think that will help to provide a little bit more equity, because if you have a piece of the company, as an employee, you feel like you're more engaged in that company. And when the company does well, you do well as well. So you can get that extra, payout, right, if you will, from your company. So that, sort of still exists. But I don't know how you fix this problem. I think once you start, there has to be some big collapse that happens to where no one's getting paid that kind of money, because as long as there's, executive X getting that money, executive Y is going to want more. It's the nature of the beast.
I know. We can redo the tax code. Oh, we already did.
Thank you very much.
How'd that work out for the 1%ers? Just saying.
And all these people we're talking about are even the smaller group of that one, the smaller, what is it? Like just a little dot in the 1%ers group.
The 0.01s?
Right. They are the wealthiest of the one.
Okay.
If you like this episode, let us know. Like us on Facebook. Use the hashtag Behind the Media to engage with us on Twitter. Have any questions or comments? Let us know at info@littlepartmedia.com. It's the fourth quarter, Mr. Jimmy.
Oh, I got so much stuff for the fourth quarter. We're going to be here for the fifth quarter.
Bites Behind the Media. If you can't eat the whole meal, we'll just give you a few pieces and a few drops at a time. I'm Dan Lothian.
And I'm Jimmy Young.
Like us on Facebook. Use the hashtag Behind the Media to engage with us on Twitter and listen to iTunes and the CLNS Media Network. Today's episode is powered by RX Bar, the Whole Foods protein bar. Go to rxbar.com/CLNS and use promo code CLNS for 25% off your first purchase. We're also brought to you by Little Part Media, where ideas come to life, producing corporate videos and podcasts to tell your story. Find out more at littlepartmedia.com or contact info@littlepartmedia.com. Okay, Jimmy, here we go.
You go first, because
Amazon.
You run the show.
These are all your ideas. I think you came up with most of them.
Okay, I'll take some credit.
100 million Amazon paid subscribers. What's that all about?
Yeah, they've got 100 million people.
You look at me like, whoa, I have no idea.
100 million
means tell me.
That's a sizable audience, and it's one of the reasons why Amazon is now going into the content creation business. Because
and this is for Prime, right?
This is Amazon Prime, 100 million Prime users.
Wow, that's huge.
And that's an audience. And that what does that mean from a business perspective? It means you can monetize that audience.
Right.
So now you've offered a incentive for your consumers to join the club, which is free shipping for the most part. I think that's what anything
and
that's
discounts sometimes on things, but free shipping is the
free
big
shipping,
and you
free.
get access to some movies and that kind of thing.
Free,
yes,
right, and
content
content that they've produced or have access to,
and eventually they'll upcharge you.
That's exactly where it's ended up going to
get
go.
You in the home and they'll lock the door.
You know, there always was this idea that there's free television. Remember over-the-air free television? Remember over-the-air free television?
Yes, I do.
Well, how do you think that free television gets produced?
Yes.
Right?
Somebody's paying.
Somebody's paying, and it actually comes back to the consumers because it adds to a marketing budget that the company that's advertising and wants to reach you, the consumer, is paying for.
Exactly. Yes. So,
not
but
really free.
it is a major milestone, if you will, for them to do that, and it just shows how this isn't going away anytime soon. There continues to be growth, and we count ourselves among the
and
Prime
it's why a
subscribers.
service company like Amazon is now in the content production world because now they've got built-in consumers.
They got them built in.
They got them. Let's give them some programming. Hey, Amazon, we're available to be picked up, just for the record, okay?
Exactly. Pick us up.
That's
and
right,
then set us
please.
back down.
That's right.
NFL, something old is something new. What's that all about, Jimmy?
Oh, now I remember, Dan. So it was I know we don't like to date this. This is kind of a green. We like to be evergreen. But when the NFL announced its schedule for the year, they decided to put up a clock in the upper left-hand corner of their station, their channel, and count down when the schedule would be released.
Like it's a big deal. Coming now.
The 2018 schedule is being released. You want to know where your team's playing that first day, that first week in September.
Stay
whatever.
tuned.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
And then they would release it, and it became a primetime special. And guess what? In this 24/7 cycle, by the time the show aired,
the info
it was leaked out to the media in some capacity, in most capacities, and you knew exactly where your teams were going to play. And really, but this is NFL controlled.
Isn't it brilliant, though? It's a way to – there's not a whole lot going on right now.
Well, it also allows them to promote the NFL draft, which happens to be next Thursday.
It's all a great marketing
over
ploy.
4 days, I think it is, true, by the way. They've stretched that out over 4 days.
Because you don't want something just to be a one-hit wonder. You don't want – especially when you don't have any football games, you don't want a draft or whatever it may be to just be a one-day thing to go and schedule. You don't want to just release a schedule. Why not capitalize on it and build the drama, even if people do leak it, build up some drama as you get closer to that, and then you make the big reveal. So anyway, that was good enough for a bite, I think.
Yes, definitely.
It was a great bite.
It was a good bite.
Okay, so the diet for TV commercials.
Okay, I knew that you were going to go there. That's why I was going to go. I was going to mention that, you know what, we'll end with the really serious celebration one, if you will,
That's
at the
fine.
end.
Yes.
I'll probably get all emotional about that, too. And
don't get emotional.
All right, I'll try not to. You know what, though? We're talking about the passing of Gil Santos, by the way. 36 years as the voice of the
I thought you were going to wait
Patriots,
till that.
I know, but
Okay.
I did.
So
I want to kind of set it up.
Okay.
Now that's kind of a tease.
Okay.
Stick around
Okay.
for the fourth quarter. Maybe I'll cry. You never know, right?
Maybe
Anyway,
you
no, I
will.
probably won't.
Baby don't cry.
I won't
Baby
cry.
don't.
All
Is that
right,
a
all
Tupac
right.
song
I'm
about Baby
I
Don't
watched
Cry?
the Hallmark Channel,
Okay.
and I cry. All right, you happy?
Oh my- Are you really one of those saps?
Of course, I'm a sap. You
sit
didn't
around-
know that about me?
You sit around watching the Hallmark Channel,
No, I don't.
bawling your head off.
I'm not going to say I do it all the time.
Oh my goodness!
But sometimes you
big
need a
fuzzy
good
slippers
cry.
on?
I got no problem. What do
Do
you
you have like big fuzzy slippers on?
I
As you're
don't
sitting
own
back?
big fuzzy slippers.
Well, you're sitting there crying with it. You have to have a big fuzzy slippers. Do you have little ears on your slippers or something?
No, I
Okay.
do not have ears on my slippers. Oh my
Okay.
God! Just because I'm a sensitive guy, all of
Oh
a sudden I get
my
a.
good-
You're profiling.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
No,
you are.
I'm
You're
not-
profiling
No,
the
I'm-
Hallmark Channel audience. You're profiling them. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Okay, can we
Guilty as
talk about
charged.
how the number of advertisements on traditional broadcast channels is going to shrink, and that makes a lot of people happy because it's like, oh my God. I'm on my DVR. I got to speed through 4 minutes of commercials or 5 minutes of commercials. If you watch sporting events, there's a ton of commercials. Both MLB and the NFL conscious of it. Their games are too long. So the first thing they go after is let's cut the commercial breaks. But, of course, if you're cutting commercial breaks, you're also cutting your lifeline to your business.
Yes, you are.
Okay. Yeah. So there's all sorts of ways that certain networks are trying to make up for this loss because the program you're watching may have fewer commercials and fewer commercial breaks, somehow or other they've got to make that up. And unfortunately, I don't think. Yeah, look, it's like anything else. If your product is eyeballs and your eyeballs are going down,
Yes.
you're not going to pay as much for the same eyeballs.
No, you
I'm
aren't.
just saying.
You got to get cheaper eyeballs.
You've got to get, or find other ways to reach them.
Just get
And-
earballs.
And I'm waiting for the interstitial ads inside the programs.
Yeah.
That is coming. Don't think it's not coming.
Yeah,
okay.
they've got to
Don't
be more
forget,
creative.
RX Bar is our sponsor.
Yeah.
Okay, here I don't know which camera I'm on,
Yeah.
but there's a reason why we're putting it in our program for our
Yeah.
video stream.
And I ate one, so there's one inside of me as
There
well.
you go.
So as
We
I
don't need
speak,
to- we
I'm
don't-
speaking about it because
don't-
there's one in my tummy.
And nor do we need to see it. In
No,
your
you
tummy.
won't see
Okay.
it.
Fox
But
is
I can show
selling-
it to you if you'd
So here's
like.
a couple of examples,
pieces.
right? Fox's effort is going to reduce the number of commercials by 2 minutes per hour by 2020 for more than 10 minutes that they have now currently. So they're going down a lot. They have 10 minutes in the break in
Right,
the hour,
they're-
and now they're going down to 2 minutes per hour.
Oh,
so
my
that's a big,
goodness.
right?
That's huge.
They've been selling 6-second ads, which, by the way, I prefer shorter ads. I get no problem with that. By the way, everybody's attention span is down to about
It is.
6 seconds anyway.
It is, yes.
Viacom rebranded Spike as the Paramount Network and launched with 30% fewer ads. Okay? Commercial time in all Nielsen track programming averaged 11.2 minutes per hour in March, up nearly 4% from a year earlier. Okay? Now they're going to be cutting them down. Okay? Let's just keep going.
Wow.
Fox will be. Well, by the way, they will not be setting guarantees for these units. By the way, they're selling these
So those make
3
goods
or
kinda-
4 minutes.
So they won't be make goods anymore.
They're
I
not.
guess if you're not guaranteeing.
They don't think advertisers. They're trying to get rid of make goods.
Oh man!
Okay?
By the way, make goods are if for some reason you
we
pull
didn't
out-
reach the rating we expected
you
to
got-
reach, so we owe you.
You got to throw
we owe
in
you
the
eyeballs.
commercials. You got to throw in the commercial somewhere.
right.
That's right.
All right. By the way, just to give you an idea, a 130-second commercial on The Simpsons
Yeah.
averages $140,700 on
Wow.
average. That's according to our friends at Ad
No
Age.
wonder they can spend so much money on these shows.
That's right.
I mean, that's
so
gone
they
down
want
some,
to
but
try
yeah.
and maintain their overall ad revenue.
Right.
So they're afraid of Netflix, by the way,
and all the other ones,
and
Hulu
rightfully
and
so.
Whatever. Yep.
And now they want to sell what they call Fox blocks. So basically, infomercials that are 2 or 3 minutes long that you own.
Oh, how does that work?
Well, it's going to at the beginning of the end of the program.
Oh,
That's where they're going to put it. So looking for Fox, they're looking for all sorts of ways. I think they're missing out. There's no reason in the world why they can't put the logos of their brands that have supported them for years on the clothing that the people that are on camera are wearing.
Yeah.
A subtle, but I really think that's how they should do it. I bet there's a union involved that says they can't, though. I don't know.
Right. No, who knows? Hey, what about this? What if there's a way for them to have stuff appear? You know how when you're online and you're and these things pop up based on the cookies? Mm-hmm. What if there were visual cookies that followed your TV?
They actually are doing that.
Oh, really?
They're gonna,
so you'll
right.
only see things
Correct.
pop up on your screen
that
based on
influence you, that
Yes,
you want.
yes.
You can pick your own advertisements.
my
Yeah,
goodness.
and that's through artificial intelligence. They're going to be doing that too.
Man.
So
All those cookies floating
it's
around,
crazy.
I'm going to become a cookie monster, which is what we have here in our studio. It's a cookie monster.
Cookie
it's
monster
my birthday,
whoopie
by
pie.
the way, so we have a whoopie pie here in the studio
Okay.
with us today. Okay, the final one. Is
the
the final,
final,
you have
it's,
one
we're
other?
going to make it the final one. I'm
Yeah.
going to salute the 420 folks at the end too. But
Right.
anyway,
Gil
I want to talk
Santos.
about the passing of Gil Santos, longtime voice of the New England Patriots, the best football team in America for
Wow.
the last 20 years.
That's-
I had to say that.
Why would you say that? You want to start
Because
you want
when I
people
was a
throwing things out our
sportscaster
window?
full time, from 1981 to 1998, and then freelance till 2007, I used to refer to the Patriots as the NFL's funniest football team.
Why did you do that?
Because they had the most bizarre things happen to the team, both on the field and off the field. They had a coach named Cleve Rush that almost electrocuted himself during a press conference.
Never even heard of
they
that
had,
coach, by the way.
Well, that would be
The 10%.
be in the 60s.
Those-
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
I do
I
predate
wasn't
you. Even
alive
though
then.
it was your birthday and you've caught up a little bit, I'm still older. Okay? They had a locker room incident with a journalist named Lisa Olson years ago that was an embarrassment. Okay? And that's just off the field. On the field, they would lose games in some of the most creative ways I've ever seen. While they're kneeling down for the football, they lose the football and it gets picked up by their team and they run back.
And they win. Yeah,
win.
yeah.
I mean, just bizarre stuff
Now
happening.
they do that to other people.
No, now exactly
Right,
right. Now
right.
that's what I'm saying. It's
Right.
all made up. What goes around comes around.
Comes
right?
around, exactly. So
Anyway,
Gil-
and Gil Santos was the voice during the funny times and the celebratory times as well. He called the first Super Bowl for the Patriots in 2001 when Adam Vinatieri hit that field goal against the LA Rams in New Orleans, which really, I believe, changed the whole feeling of Boston and the sports fan. It undid the curse. A lot of people look at the Dave Roberts stolen base in 2004 in the World Series and the ALCS against the Yankees.
I have no idea what that's about.
I understand, you know, this is where I'm
me,
but I'm trying to give it a perspective.
Oh, thank you.
Bottom line is, Boston's the greatest sports town in America over the last 15, 20 years. It started with Gil Santos calling the Patriots' upset win of the Rams their first Super Bowl win.
Right.
It started then. By the way, Bob Hallen wrote a great book called Count the Rings.
Oh, really? I haven't heard that.
It's out there, Bob. You can find it on Amazon.
You're getting kickbacks from that.
No, it's not kickbacks.
Okay,
I'm a
just a
big
good friend.
fan of Bob. He's a friend, and I think the book is great. And if you're a sports fan of Boston and you don't have a copy of that book, you're not really a sports fan in Boston. I'm just saying.
But
All
Gil
right?
Santos, I mean, that it was a
great
legendary
voice.
Yeah, that's a voice. That
He's
when
an
you heard it-
old school voice who
voice.
smoked a lot of cigarettes to get to that resonance,
Oh,
I just want to
interesting.
say, which ended up obviously taking some years off his life. He did live till 80. He broadcast till his mid-70s, which is awesome when you can do that. Longtime partner Gino Capoletti, the color analyst, alongside. And Gino and I, we've known each other I love kickers in football, by the way. I always have befriended the Patriots kickers for the years that I was in. Anyway, I used to call my high school football and college football that I broadcast in Maine similarly to Gil Santos. No, I did not have the resonance of his voice.
But
However,
he influenced
he said,
your
here's
way
how
of
you
doing
do it,
Right.
Jimmy. Listen to me. And I did, and I delivered. And you would set the line of scrimmage. You would describe the formation, who's in the formation, what the defense looks like, and you have about 20 seconds to do this
What
on
does
every
formation
play.
mean?
So where the
I do know that.
Okay, you do know
but
that.
I don't know who goes where. I know the center is in the middle.
And you know that the backs behind the quarterback are either in a horizontal alignment, vertical alignment,
No.
or split.
No, I have no idea about any of that stuff.
There are wide receivers on either
I
side.
know that.
Okay.
Right, and they run out and
Sometimes
catch the
there's
ball.
two.
Yes.
What's that?
They run out and catch the ball.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
And then there's the quarterback.
Yes.
And then
there's
that's
quarterback.
it.
Correct.
Right.
But you know,
Is there
the
a goalie?
defense
Is
the
there a
defense
goalie?
set up in a no? There's no goalie.
There's no goalie in football.
Oh,
that
my
was a
God,
joke.
my
That was
brain
a joke.
hurts.
That was
Okay,
a
it
joke.
was
That
good.
part. But
All right, fair enough.
Yes, if
They
only
have-
Gil were here, he could straighten things out.
Yes,
for me.
he would. And if
But
you,
he's
and if
looking
you
down
grew
on us.
up in this area listening to Gil Santos, you too would have more sports knowledge than you do right now.
I did listen to him only to get the scores.
He was
But
great. And he's also the voice of a lot of NFL films. They do an
Right.
amazing job of slowing down and telling the stories. Again, just the deep resonance. And again, it's another one of those great broadcasters, Dan. We've both known them from the old school
Right.
that would smoke cigarettes and have the deep resonance. And this is his final words. I wrote this down. His final words as he signed off. Okay, and now I'm going to get your reaction to it, and I know I have it here. In fact, it's on the first page of my notes as I'm finally
You
getting
just have
to
to find the first
They
page.
were on the first page, and
Right.
there they are. And he said his last words, "It's been a privilege, not a job." Think about that one.
Yeah.
Now, I ask you as a longtime journalist,
Yeah.
did you find that your job was a privilege?
Yeah. Yeah, I think until, even now when I don't do it on a daily basis, but when I do go out and report a story, I still see it as a privilege. Now, you want it to be a job because you got to keep the lights on. You have to feed the children.
Right.
But it's always been about a privilege.
Yeah.
I mean, when I went into work, it wasn't, oh, here we go, I got to go. No, it was a privilege that you got to sit where you sat and fly on what you flew and witness what you did. I mean, that's a privilege.
It's a privilege that not a lot of people get to do.
Right.
And I agree that I was lucky to do it for a period of time, and I felt privileged. It was my job. That's how I looked at it, though,
Right.
and I did it to the best of my ability
Yeah.
for as long as I could.
I mean, I would have done it for free early on. As I got older, I had more responsibility, so I wouldn't do it for free. But it's the kind of thing that you do it because you love it.
Right.
You don't necessarily everything else that comes along with it is extra, but you're doing it because it's a privilege. You love doing it. That's what journalism is all about.
Absolutely, and that's really why Gil Santos stood alone. Mass Broadcast Hall of Fame. I'm pretty sure he's in one of the Sportscasters Hall of Fames that's out there, and also in the Patriots Hall of Fame. So
So a salute to
Gil Santos. And by the way, he used to do soccer games back when I was a kid, too. And I remember him doing those, too.
See, I knew there was a goal in there somewhere.
Yeah, it's always about soccer.
That's right.
Always about sports.
Well, those were great. Great bites, Jimmy. Thank you very much. For our director, Steve Helmuth, our producer and social media guru, Alex Barth, this is a show. This is a wrap, Jimmy. I'm Dan Lothian.
And I'm Jimmy Young.
Hey, if you like the show, share it. Keep listening on iTunes and the CLNS Media Network. And my birthday.
And when time to eat the cookies.
It's cookie time!
Yeah!